while I was working on my Reiki certificate, I was developing a platform to share this information with others. I was procuring the equipment that I'm using now, and I was thinking at the time about offering services. As I began to explore that, I realized that I did not want to charge for these services, and I wanted to create a platform that was accessible to everyone, upon which they could be introduced to their own subtle nature, and from there individuals could seek out others in their community who might be able to guide them further along in their journey wherever they may be. I wanted this platform to cite the kinds of resources that are available. That could be books or any number of resources, and create a space that confirmed what I believe are suspicions that everyone shares. So, I began by correlating Heal Real in that program with my journal Feel Real. I had been working on Feel Real for maybe 10 or so years at the time. Feel Real is about telling my story and examining my story through a lens of feeling real, an acronym standing for respect, feeling accommodation, feeling empathy, feeling accommodation, and feeling love as I moved through my story and told my story. I wanted to frame my reality through a lens that I felt good about. Heal Real is about healing that lens. So, healing the mechanism through which I experience respect, healing empathy, healing accommodation, and healing love, the way that I practice those virtues. There are so many ways to address our healing, and this channel is dedicated to exploring that initiative. This channel will begin by focusing on breathing and meditation. How we breathe opens the doors to how we engage with our environment and ourselves. And as you learn and practice different breathing techniques, you will begin to see how breathing is the only control mechanism that we have over our body. You could say we control thirst and hunger and our thoughts. However, if you really want to master your relationship with those needs, you can do so through breathing. Meditation is not just sitting in silence with our eyes closed. There are many ways our bodies force us into meditation. Meditation can be while we're driving or while we're going for a walk. Our bodies naturally find ways to meditate in the daydream state and other ways. If you create a space for meditation, or I'll say when you create that space, you will find that your body no longer forces you into meditation at unexpected or unwanted times. So, finding your preferred ways to meditate and allowing yourself that time will aid and support your mental health and your intuitive growth. So we will explore different protocols or techniques for meditation, and we will host meditations on this channel. Going to refresh my cup of rice green tea. I always say it is my favorite tea. In meditation, it is important to be aligning with highest Tao. Highest Tao, or Tao itself, is a term used to describe what we could generally describe as the force of nature. It is the path that movement in the universe already wants to go. So many people use the term highest good, and the reality is we are always acting in highest good. Highest good can be your own highest good, and it can be the highest good of someone or a group that you are aligned to and wish to serve. So every action is that every person creates is a service to either themselves, a group that they're aligned with, or the highest good for all. I use the term highest Tao to specifically refer to the highest good for all, as Tao is the energy of the universe trying to manifest as the highest good for all. In our work on this channel, we will always be encouraging you, reminding ourselves to be in service to highest Tao and setting that intention clearly and with integrity. Through that lens, we will explore what is metaphysics. Metaphysics is the science of self as specifically relates to consciousness. The science of consciousness has been a valid scientific field now for 150 years. And around the world, there have been scientists, researchers, institutes committed to exploring and defining the nature of consciousness. What we have learned is that each of us has a unique intuitive language. So we can't just pick up a book and say, okay, I'm perceiving this symbol. This symbol means this. What we have learned is that the most critical element of our intuitive language, our unique intuitive language to each of us, is the emotion, what we're feeling behind that symbol, and how that, I will say, in the emotion, the meaning of the symbol can be translated. As we are perceiving from our unique lenses, we are contributing to a broader understanding. The Hindus call that tathata, the suchness or essence of something, which cannot be described through a name. So you could say, when we say apple, there are so many different kinds of apples, and each of us uniquely experiences the apple. And so through our unique lens, we can only add to a larger understanding about what is an apple without ever being able to accurately define something that ultimately has no definition. And that can be expanded to ourselves. That is to say, we ultimately are learning about ourselves every day, and we never fully even get to understand ourselves except through unique situations that we find ourselves in and how we respond in the moment to those situations. And when we do discover those aspects about ourselves, we are constantly in a state of change and growth. And so that relationship is dynamic. the science of metaphysics through that lens is one that is by nature subjective and really only serves to satisfy a curiosity about our environment through which we experience ourselves as a mirror or reflection of that experience. In metaphysics, there are intuitive practices and techniques that help us to perceive reality in abstract ways. And so our intention on this channel is to take those understandings and apply them to daily habits and practices and paradigm shifts that facilitate our personal growth. Because so much of metaphysics is abstract, I've really tried to focus on making the content meaningful and applicable in my daily life and in yours as well, hopefully, so that we're using our time meaningfully. So, on this channel, we're going to explore books and movies and other material, and we're going to begin with Paramahansa Yogananda's book, Autobiography of a Yogi. This is the story of a young yogi from India who came to the United States and brought with him the first traditions of yoga. And I haven't read the entire book, but I've read the first half, and he really does a fantastic job explaining the nature of consciousness and how we can use our consciousness wisely. And I feel like it's a fantastic launching point for a whole range of conversations about metaphysics. So we will begin there in terms of exploring media. I would also like to explore aspects of The Tao of Physics by Fritjof Capra. I would like to examine Miracles of Mind by Russell Targ and Jane Katra, among other books. I like science books too. The First Idea, Shankar, is excellent at exploring what used to be the Descartes model, the Cartesian model. That was, we have a left and right brain, but the new science really does show that we feel first, we have emotion first, and then we think afterwards. And that is absolutely the fundamental mechanism of intuitive development as well. So there's lots of valuable information that we'll explore here. I'd like to approach the subjects we explore through an interfaith model. I want to look at a number of traditions. In addition to interfaith, there's interdisciplinary. There's a number of practices and techniques from a number of traditions, and I'd like to explore as many of them as we can get to, and I feel committed to a lifetime of building content on this channel, so we will see where we go. We will explore religion and religious dogma and those perspectives. We'll explore science and scientific protocols for meditation and certain techniques that are specific to certain results. And then there are the spiritual practices of the yogis that, I guess in a general term, facilitate self-awareness, self-realization, and are stepping stones on the path to what is broadly referred to as enlightenment. I'm certainly not a yogi. I'm certainly not enlightened. I am just very passionate and curious about these subjects, and I feel confident in a commitment to explore them based on over 20 years, I would say now almost 30 years of unyielding curiosity thus far.